Going on. The first story of the day is about Tijuana in Mexico. They got in the news this last couple of days because they had some pretty big protests of anti-caravan protesters from Tijuana, and the mayor also joined it. And I saw recently, I was like, I had to triple check. I was like making sure it's true. He had a "Make Tijuana Great Again" hat on, and a bunch of them were. He said in a very kind manner. I read his quotes. He basically said, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, "We're not, we're not structured right now to take in these people. It's like a horde, similar to like Trump calls it an invasion." He said it's like a horde, and you got to go back to where you're from. I guess Honduras in that case. I'm sure some people hopped on in Salvador. Heck, probably some people hopped on in Mexico. It's like, we're going to the United States to play PlayStation. All jokes aside, that's what one of them said. They were like, "Why do you want to go back to the United States?" And he said, "Because he wants to play PlayStation and eat Buffalo Wild Wings." I heard that, I was cracking up. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting because the narrative here is that, America is racist and anybody who doesn't like illegal immigration is racist. I shared a really great story about it yesterday from Blue Collar Logic. Really nice white guy who was explaining, I've been a tradesman my whole life and my wages are stagnant because of illegal immigration. I loved it because the guy was like super calm, super nice, super respectful, but just basically told the truth. And the truth is that it's not just Americans who feel this way. The media, mainly the liberal media, but I'm not a huge fan of Fox and stuff too. But anyway, they're lying when they say, "Oh, it's a Trump problem, it's a white nationalist problem." No, half the world is like torn on illegal immigration, illegal refugee immigration, or whatever you want to call it. It's a problem everywhere. It's a problem in Europe, it's a problem in Canada, and it's also a problem in Mexico. I mean, it's just basic. Like, a lot of people there, they're citizens and they feel a certain way about people who are non-citizens just kind of getting in a caravan and barging their way into a city. It's like, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I understand why people have the humanitarian, like, we got to help these people. But when you're talking about Tijuana, the mayor is not very popular according to what I looked like. So I'm not here to make him look like he's a hero just because he wear make a Tijuana Great Again hat. I don't know what he's responsible for. I don't live there. But I do know that Tijuana has had some huge murder rate problems, and they've broken some records in Tijuana and Mexico for the most murders. And I don't know the Tijuana one exactly, but Mexico is on pace to have, violent crime and murders is literally at an all-time high. So when I'm thinking about illegal immigration, of course I love people from all countries and ethnicities. I mean, that's a given. I'm not a racist person, but when it comes to looking at our southern border friends, and I have friends from Mexico, it's no big deal. If they have a big murder rate problem, why would we want to inherit that? It's like the liberal narrative is, oh, well, people are trying to escape that. But the real narrative is some people are trying to escape that, but others are also trying to take advantage of that. There's been many reports of people who are snatching up other people's kids to come to the border because liberals in America will treat them like, "Oh, you have a kid with you? We're going to give you millions of dollars in a GoFundMe page." So anytime you have massive weakness and naivety like that, you're going to have people taking advantage of it. But Tijuana, they should take care of themselves. If they have a high murder rate and huge issues going on in Mexico and Tijuana, why would they want to inherit the problems of El Salvador and, thousands of people when they can't even handle their citizens and their government as it is? That's what I say about California. I'll say, living here for 4 or 5 years now in Los Angeles, my neighborhood has gotten worse. It's not getting better. It's not getting cleaner. It's getting dirtier. Literally, it's like filthy. Like, there's trash everywhere. So why would we want to inherit thousands of people who aren't citizens when we don't even take care of the citizens we have now? We have a homeless veteran problem, a suicide problem, a mental health problem, tens of thousands of people living in, tents and random, like, recyclable houses on the street, shitting, taking literal feces, poops on the street, needles all over the place. Why? It has nothing to do with, like, racism, sexism, or whatever fake narrative it's just like, I don't inherit other people's problems if I can't take care of my own. It's very simple. LA does not take care of their own people. San Francisco doesn't take care of it. It's, having all-time lows in cleanliness. And then you think it's an okay idea to take 6, 7, 8,000 people on top of that? So for Tijuana, I applaud their citizens for standing up and being like, we got enough to worry about in Tijuana. Why in the world would we want 6,000 migrants from Honduras, El Salvador, who knows who these people are, just because they barged in? And I know a lot of people don't like this comparison, but I think it's perfect. There's a lot of homeless people. How come everybody with a free room, especially celebrities, how come they don't let homeless people in their, free bedrooms? And you would say, a lot of people say that's not a good comparison. I do think it is. You have excess stuff. They don't have enough. Why don't you let them in? That's theirs because they need help. To me, it's the exact same thought process of, no, it's okay to let all these people in no matter what they do, who they are, what the process is. There's millions of people waiting from these countries to come here legally, but it's okay that they barged in here because they came in large groups of people and they need help, they need asylum, and they need support. It's no different than someone barging into your house if you have excess. The reason you don't let them in is because it's your house. You pay rent, you pay taxes there, and you decide who enters in and out. For the president of the United States or the mayor of Tijuana, it's his job for who he lets in and out. Like, you don't let someone live in an apartment complex just because 100 people bang on the door and say, we deserve to live here, although there's other people waiting to actually live there legally. That's not how anything works. So why would a country, just at like a root level issue, why would a country work that way? Why would Tijuana work that way? I don't understand the argument. It's coming from people who feel very guilty for things that they didn't do, or maybe their ancestors did and they feel bad about it, and just people who've bought into like the far left cultural Marxist agenda of like, this country bad, these people good. These people are allowed to walk all over you, do whatever they want because you owe them something. It's the whole, from healthcare to taxes to everything. It's taking from you or forcing you into something that you never agreed upon, whether it's illegal or legal, and then allowing other people to have it because they think that will equal stuff out. There's a reason that this ideology has a 0% success rate in society. It never works long term because the whole thing is flawed from the very, very start. So congratulations from Tijuana for making the news. I'm glad to see someone else is like, hey, it doesn't make sense to me. And my overall thing with Tijuana, whose murder rate is skyrocketing, and California, which has huge poverty problems, huge education problems, the most insane, ridiculous homeless problem I've ever seen in my life. People come from third world countries and they're blown away that exists. They're like, this doesn't even exist in my own country. Take care of your own people, take care of your own citizens, take care of your own homelessness, take care of your own feces and pills and crack all over the streets and like literal just like piss and urine everywhere, which is the same thing. But fix that. It's a disgrace what's happening in my city. It's a disgrace what's happening in this country. And it's a disgrace what's happening in Tijuana. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's not legal. And just because a bunch of people come together and do it, that is a horde, that is an invasion, that is a mob. That's like the literal definition of the word. Now there's 3 and 4 caravans because you're setting the precedent. If you leave your door open and say you can have food, you're trying to feed people, you try to do a good job, but then tens of thousands of people start coming because they're taking advantage of your kindness. It's not truly being kind and compassionate. It's being very the opposite towards your citizens and being just weak and foolish. You're allowing the precedent for billions of people to just barge into the country when they're not invited or legally passed in. And there's billions, with a B, more than the entire population of the United States, who will want to do that. Why would they not? Just to wrap it up, the mayor of Haiti had a quote where he said, the Haitians came here, they sought refugee and asylum, but they did it the right way. They had paperwork, they applied, and we let the Haitian refugees come to Tijuana. These Honduran refugees, they didn't sign any paperwork, they didn't do it the right way. They literally just barged, had a murderous back and forth with a police officer. There's reports of illegals literally lighting entire immigrant camps on fire, like other immigrants who are in Mexico. The new illegals are lighting them on fire. That was a report in Mexico that barely got noticed. It just doesn't make sense. So to me, it has nothing to do with race or politics. It's like basic common sense, which is apparently missing from pretty much any argument. And if you bring that up, they say racism, sexism, xenophobia, you're a bad person, I'm the best, I'm social justice, you're evil, when it's really just they're masking their non-justice and non-common sense in social justice, which is one of the most cowardly things you could do, is masking a horrific agenda that has a 0% chance of success rate in the guise of being a great person, like a Martin Luther King, which they're not. The next